Hi, welcome to this drum lesson for Tomorrow Never Knows by the Beatles. Okay, so again, another massively iconic drum part here by the great Ringo. Let's just jump straight into this pattern. Okay, so I've actually got the snares off here so that it's a little bit more like the track, sounding like the track, because there's not really like a proper banging snare drum in there. Ringo does a lot of towels and a lot of... I'm not trying to recreate the sound of the track on Revolver, but I'm trying to get it somewhere in the area. But I also want you to be able to sort of hear what I'm doing as well. So yeah, hopefully it sounds kind of close, but still hearable. So yeah, the pattern is really quite simple. The real kind of backbone of it is kicks on 1, 2 and 3, and what we're doing, and just a backbeat just on beat 2. We're not playing a snare drum on beat 4, okay? And what we're doing here is we're just going to hit a crash or a ride. It's a very crashy, ridey thing. So I've got this cymbal here, which is a ride, but it's very washy. So, but if your ride tends to be a bit pingy, you might want to try it on a crash, something a bit more open. So yeah, and I'll just play that for you. So we're going to leave the backbeat out on 4, okay, and we're just going to play the backbeat on 2. So it'd be like this. So what we can do is for it to be a bit more grooving to begin with, to get the idea, is add the backbeat on 4 as well. So that'll be like this. Cool, okay, so let's try that a tiny bit slower. So we're going... Okay, so that is kind of the backbone of the beat. Now remember, we're not playing that backbeat on 4, so we're going to take that one out. But that kind of space in the groove is where the rack tom comes in. So we're doing 2 hits, 2 16th notes on the last 2 16th notes of beat 3. So 3, E and A. So you've got 3, E and A, so the last 2. So we're going to try and do that with the left hand. Yeah. So we're going to do that in this pattern and leave out the backbeat on 4. So it's going to be... Okay, a little bit slower. Cool, okay. Now we're going to add another crash where we do the first of the 2 16th notes on the rack tom. And that's pretty much all of the crashes, apart from one other. Crash, ride, it's washy cymbal. It doesn't necessarily have to be a crash or a ride, it can just be a cymbal that is just, that washes. So that's going to sound like this. Okay, and now there is one more crash sort of cymbal pattern that happens right at the end of the bar, going back into it. So it's after the rack toms, and it's on 4 and, I think. So it sounds like this. So it's like do-dum and one, get go and one. Yeah. So at the end of the bar, he sometimes, this is the great thing about Ringo, even though it's the same drum groove, he sometimes doesn't play that extra cymbal and leaves a gap. So even within a repeating pattern, he's still changing little tiny bits, which kind of makes it great. It kind of makes it alive. It kind of makes it as though it's moving. It's not programmed. It's not, you know, I mean, no one's gonna fall under the spell of thinking that it's programmed, but it just feels, I don't know, something about it just feels kind of alive. You hear it and you sort of think that's someone playing that groove live in the studio. It sounds great. So yeah, sometimes I'll drop it out so it will sound more like this. So yeah, just have a play around with adding and taking away that very last cymbal hit in the bar. Now there's one more little bit that essentially is the groove when you kind of hear it on record, but there's one little icing on the cake, one little cherry, which is a little hi-hat flourish. Now I'm not 100% sure how Ringo actually played this, you know, in the studio, but to me, being a right-handed drummer, obviously he's a left-handed drummer playing a kit. This kind of makes sense to me. And so the little flourish is right at the beginning. So you're going one gap. Let me just play it for you. Here we go. So it's one gap. Gap. Okay, so it's little 16th notes. So yeah, let me play that a little bit slower. Here we go. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to you. I've got the whole playthrough of the track. Obviously it's the same pattern, but yeah, go and have a playthrough of that now and let's see how that goes. Here we go. Cool, so I hope that went well. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, learning that pattern. As I say, that's how I would play that pattern, and I'm pretty sure that's close to what he's doing. But yeah, hopefully that was interesting, and thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.